You need to find your way around Vancouver. What is the difference between West Van, the West End, the West Side, New West, and the Westwood Plateau? Don't worry, I got you covered. Hi everybody, welcome or welcome back to the Real Justine Priestley channel. I am the Real Justine Priestley, your realtor with a twist here in the Greater Vancouver area. In this video, I'm going to attempt to explain all the different areas of Vancouver itself. Let me answer the question that was at the top of this video. So West Vancouver, or West Van, is an area next to North Van on the North Shore Mountains, so across the bridge from Stanley Park. The West End is a little area between Stanley Park and downtown. New West is short for New Westminster. That's a whole different municipality south of Vancouver, kind of southeast. And the Westwood Plateau is actually a part of Coquitlam. Vancouver is big and super complicated. Renfrew, Nat Bailey, or any left in the west side. So I'm working it all out for you guys, and I've broken it down, Vancouver itself, into 3 areas. So I already did a video about downtown Vancouver and the 4 or 5 areas that are in that part of downtown proper. Now this video is about the rest of Vancouver on the west side and on the east side. Most people agree that the border between the west side and the east side of Vancouver is Main Street. Vancouver's west side is surrounded by water. As you can see, it goes all the way around from where Stanley Park is, all the way around UBC, and then down into the Fraser River. Vancouver's east side is bordered by Burnaby, a different municipality to the east, and has a little bit of water in the Burrard Inlet up at the northern end of 3 of the East Van neighborhoods. And there's a little bit of the Fraser River on the south end of the east side of Vancouver. Are you confused yet? Up until about 10 years ago, Main Street, I mentioned already, was considered the $1 million line, meaning to the west of Main Street, many of the houses were over $1 million, and to the east of Main Street, not so much. But in the last decade or so, that's pretty much changed. Historically, East Van was a little bit more of a working class neighborhood. Many immigrants that were coming to Canada from outside were moving into the east side of Vancouver. So that immigration situation affected the zoning laws, with the west side being originally a wealthier part of Vancouver. The lots were bigger and a lot of the homes were bigger and more expensive, and some of them have lasted longer. On the east side, the working class homes were smaller, more compact, and had a lot more people living in them. But the food was way better in that neighborhood. You can see on the map here that I'm going to use throughout this video all the different areas in the west side and the east side. There are 2 communities that are considered to straddle the east and west. That is Mount Pleasant and also Riley Park Little Mountain. East Vancouver has a strong geographic and community identity. This identity is about a diverse community living in a dynamic urban neighborhood. The East Van identity is strengthened by a strong artistic presence and a politically engaged youth population. As the need and pressure for more and more housing continues in all of Vancouver, but especially on the east side, there have been new zoning laws for densification, which has led to zoning for coach houses and laneway houses. The west side of Vancouver is known for having the most upscale neighborhoods and most expensive properties in Vancouver next to West Van. The west side has most of the upscale private schools, both elementary and high school, and the famous UBC, University of British Columbia, which is widely considered to be one of the top universities in all of Canada. And if you want beaches, the west side is where you're going to want to live, because there are beaches literally all the way around the west side. Let's get into the individual neighborhoods, west versus east, east versus west. All I ask in return is that you smoosh the light. Smoosh that light. Strathcona is Vancouver's oldest suburban neighborhood and was originally known as the East End. It was traditionally always working class and had people from many different ethnic backgrounds. Many houses that still exist today in Strathcona are designated heritage homes, and there's been a recent movement towards the true colors that reflect the colors of the original period. Strathcona is home to the oldest school in Vancouver, built in 1891, Lord Strathcona Elementary. And you will also find Canada's oldest Japanese school, built here in Vancouver in Strathcona in 1906. The school offers Japanese immersion preschool and other Japanese language courses to this day. Renfrew, Collingwood is a very large residential area built on rolling hills with many busy surface streets going through it. Renfrew, Collingwood has Vancouver's second oldest fire hall at Nootka and 22nd. It's such a cool building. It's still a fire hall. This neighborhood also has 5 different SkyTrain stations, the Millennium Line and the Canada Line going through it, so lots of public transport. Carleton Elementary School is a historic school in Renfrew, Collingwood, and the area has 6 public elementary schools and 2 public high schools. I love these adorable 1940s homes. They'd be the original ones on these lots. Look how close the roofs are to each other. In between the houses, you might be able to spot the mountains. Every house you see using the biggest footprint possible. And oh look, a Vancouver special. As you would expect, around all of those SkyTrain stations, you end up with high-density living, some high-rise apartments, and lots more people living in a small area. Hastings Sunrise is a great neighborhood. Originally called New Brighton, Hastings Sunrise had Vancouver's very first road hotel, first post office, first telephone, first real estate transaction, and first subdivision. Vacationers would come all the way from Gastown to Hastings Sunrise for some beaches and some relaxation in the form of the famous Hastings racetrack. They could bet on the ponies, and in the summer there was the Pacific National Exhibition, which still goes on today, and we have Playland, which is Vancouver's biggest amusement park. Some of these cute little beach bungalows date back to the 20s or the 30s. Originally on these small little lots, some of them remain and have been modified or updated. Since then, many bigger homes have been built using double lots. Grandview Woodland is a central area in the east side of Vancouver, which has a vibrant mixture of commercial and industrial, also single and multi-family structures. Grandview Woodland was built on a rise, and many places have gorgeous views of the North Shore Mountains, downtown, and the inlet. This is also where you'll find Commercial Drive, what Vancouverites call the Drive. It's famous for having lots of activity, nightlife, restaurants, cafes, shops, and interesting, unique characters everywhere you look. Grandview Woodland enjoys some of the most incredible, funky character homes in all of Vancouver. There are many artists in this neighborhood, and I think you can really tell when you look at all the different homes. This area is a walker's paradise, and you may be noticing no cars in the front of the houses. That's because in many parts of Vancouver, laneways service the back of the homes, and that's where all the garages are. Mount Pleasant is a really cool little neighborhood straddling the east side and the west side. It was originally known as Brewery Creek because there was a creek going through the area that beer makers would use. Unfortunately, the creek is long gone, but don't worry, there's lots of watering holes in this area to wet your whistle. Mount Pleasant has some old, rambling, original old houses, but much of it is multi-family. Newer and older apartment buildings and condos all over the place. The first streetcar arrived in Mount Pleasant in 1890 at the junction of Main Street and Broadway, which is arguably still the center of the commercial activity in the area. I think you can tell a lot about Mount Pleasant by the fact that there's a park there officially named Dude Chilling Park. Interestingly, the 2016 census here in Vancouver said that in Mount Pleasant, 60% of the population was under 40 years old. Wow, that's tons of young people. No wonder Mount Pleasant is so much fun. The area known as Sunset, what a pretty name. Sunset remained rural until the 1940s when there was a wave of immigration from Europe, mostly Germans, and there are still some beautiful old German churches. The 1960s saw another wave of immigration into the Sunset area, mainly Sikhs from Punjab, and they formed an area that was known as Little India on Main Street. What a wave of good fortune for Vancouver to have that wonderful community move in. And as a side bonus, hundreds and hundreds of Vancouver specials were built. You gotta love a Vancouver street that's just Vancouver special after Vancouver special. 60s, 70s, they're all here. If you don't know what a Vancouver special is, watch this video right here.